Hey everyone, and welcome back to Bowl with Value. I'm Valerie Bercier, and today I'm here with Ryan Mouw, and we're going to be bowling on a 39-foot flat pattern in preparation for Ryan's journey to the USBC Open Championships next week in Baton Rouge. Stick around and see what we have today.
This brings up by 12. Pass it. Really good look.
All right, we are back at Sherman Bowling Center, and we have lane 19 today, and we had them lay out the 2024 US Open pattern number 1. So 39 feet flat, like real flat. So we did kind of get warmed up, but part of our time here today is going to be the strategy of going to the US Open Championships. USBC Open Championships, which also known as Nationals.
The Nationals.
Right?
That's right.
I bowled it a few times, haven't bowled it in quite a few years for various reasons. But Ryan is actually coming up on his 20th time there, and he has a team eagle and a single all events eagle. So he kind of knows what he's doing.
Yeah, it's one of the toughest tournaments in the country, in the world, to speak. It's just you show up, you bowl your 9 games, and you head out of town. You know, you either have it or you don't.
Yeah.
In this video, we're going to try and hopefully help you find it easier and faster.
That's right. Yeah, because there are strategies that you can do and plan for when you get there. And so the first one is, well, we don't actually know what the pattern is. So we get to show up and figure it out as you throw balls down the lane. Well, you can, and Ryan, you told me that earlier.
Yeah. Well, the USBC does a pretty good job of keeping the patterns similar from year to year. So it's not so much of a surprise where you get to the venue and all of a sudden the team event shot is 45 feet and the singles and doubles event is 33 feet or something like that.
Yeah.
You're not going to get that. So the team event's usually 39 feet, very flat, very tricky. It kind of wants you to see the lane for what it is. It's short, it hooks, but it wants you to stay in a spot and play the right part of the lane, or else you're going to get into some trouble.
That's right. So there's not a lot of hook to the right and not a lot of shim in the middle. So the strategy warming up, you've got 10 guys or guys and gals on a pair. And so to come together and break down the pattern in the first 10 minutes of practice is going to help.
Yeah, what you need to do is you need to have some mixes. You need to have some stronger bowling balls with a lot of surface on it so you can take some oil off the lane into that spot where there's so much volume.
Yeah.
And also you need to have some shiny balls, plastic, urethane, to kind of play up the middle of the lane and stretch that pattern to create some hold. So there's some strategy to it. And And like I said, the pattern wants to trick you into thinking that it hooks more than it really does.
Because once you stretch it, then all of a sudden you're going to be like, oh, my ball didn't hook.
Correct.
Okay, so I have some
as the lanes transition more and more, you're going to start to see some different things in your ball motion. It either wants to go up the lane hook or it wants to go to the right and stay out to the right. And that's why breaking it down is so important.
Yes, exactly. All right, so I have 1,000. You think 1,000 is enough to go on the outside?
I do. Yep,
okay.
I think 1,000 is perfect for this point. You don't want it too dull to where it starts to cliff the lane. So you just want to have a nice.
Ooh, that's a good point.
Yeah, you can actually do too good a work on these lanes if you make them too dry to the right and you don't have the hold in the middle. Then you kind of have the too much hook and nothing to hold.
Nothing to hold. So I think we should just break it down.
Yep.
We spent just a few minutes right before we started recording doing this. So we're not going to take 10 minutes to do this like you would in actual competition. So so you said about 5, 6?
Yep, we've been trying to break it down from about 5 or the 5th board, first arrow.
Okay.
5, 6, 7, right in that area is pretty good. And you're going to see your ball hook. You're going to see that ball hook. You're not going to really want to try and strike. You just want to work on hitting your spot and breaking that spot down.
Yeah. So why don't you go ahead and do that too? And again, you've got 10 minutes. So you want to be like person next up, go, go, go when you're warming up and in practice. Have the next person, doesn't matter. Again, you don't need to strike to kind of help the pattern break down. And I don't have a ball. This
Go
happened.
ahead and throw your plastic
Yeah,
ball,
I
your,
was
your
gonna
spare
say,
ball,
this
and,
happened
and
the
do
last
a
time. Here it
couple
comes.
stretch shots. Yeah.
Yeah, so then for the stretch shots, you want it to be inside of what, 15?
Yeah, you kind of want to just go right up the track and try and hit the 3-pin right in the face.
All right.
And that's perfect.
And that's to deposit some of the oil down so that your break point isn't like as sharp, essentially.
That's
And
correct.
when you move in, it's not like if you miss in a touch, hopefully you get a little bit of hold.
Yep, it gives you that little
Eventually.
bit of buffer. Yep. Yep, you're creating a little bit of hook to the right and a little bit of hold in the middle. And that's the thing about these flat patterns is you're looking for hook. Whereas in a house pattern, you're looking for oil.
All right, and I'm really trying to roll it because you don't, I mean, if I actually tried to hook it there, it would go to the 7-pin, which that's not the goal of that shot anyway. You want it to tumble.
That's correct.
And essentially pick up as much oil from the right.
Mm-hmm.
And so you know this now, if you've been watching for a period of time, when your track is right next to your fingers and thumb, you're covering the whole entire circumference of the bowling ball, so you're able to pick up more oil. So I'll throw a couple more shots, and Ryan, you want to throw a couple more? There's no hook to the right at all.
And there's that case in point right there.
Case in point.
I'll stretch this one and I'll throw one
Sure.
more.
Perfect. And I'll stretch it. I'll stretch one more time too. Whoop. All right. Nice. Okay. Couple more little stretcheroos. I mean, if I don't have a look, I might just use that. So this is my axe. It's not entirely plastic. It is part urethane.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So we've got a couple more minutes of warm up, right?
Yeah, we've simulated about 10 minutes of practice, I would say.
Yeah. Okay. So how about we get lined up? So say it's 8 minutes, right? We're at the 8-minute mark.
Yep.
Now we need to actually find a line to the pocket.
Yeah, so we've done a pretty good job of breaking down 5, 6, 7 on the arrows. So let's just take a smaller move and try and use that area as kind of our hook spot if we can.
Yeah. Okay. So you want me to?
Yeah.
You want
Let's
me to
give
go?
it a try. Yep.
Okay. I'm gonna start with the Effect Tour.
Really smooth ball, really
Yes.
very predictable.
Yep. And that's what I was using to break it down. And I do have a Hazmat Solid, which is again a slower response.
Stronger symmetric.
Stronger symmetric, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we've got a couple other options too. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna move into, I would say 12, maybe 12, or is that too far left?
Let's try 10.
Let's do 10.
Let's try 10.
Or a little further right.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
almost like, what should I get to the break point? Because if the pattern's 39 feet,
39 feet.
minus 31 is at 8.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
that's the rule of 31.
31, yep.
So 8 at the break point. So essentially, if I go 10, it's like 10 to 8. So really rolly.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And like again, you want to let that 39-foot pattern shape your ball. You don't want to try and shape it for it.
Right. Okay. So if I go, all right, let's see here.
Looks pretty good.
That is like the most rolly I think I could ever get in my life. When I bowled on these patterns before, I spun it so hard. So I would just be forced further left and having to like throw it to the right. And then if you've watched the channel, you've seen me do that before. And it's like 2, 8, 10 city, right?
Yeah, and once you start trying to get too far left, because you get tricked by the pattern, the ball hooking. So you want to get left, but it's tricking you. And then you get too much angle going up the lane this way, it falls off. You get too much lane going forward, it goes that way. It's like bowling on your roof almost. It gets really tricky that way.
Yeah. So you want to throw a shot?
Yeah, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go away from the ball that I burned with, and I'm going to use this NV Tour. Again, it's similar to Valerie's Effect Tour. Lower,
Yes.
tour core, smaller core, not
Yep.
as much reaction. So I'm going to move in a little bit as well. I'm going to go in, well, let's say 4 boards off of that. I'm going to try and get right around 9 or 10 at the dot arrows.
Nice.
Okay. I think we did a pretty good job with the pair.
So good. So it feel pretty comfortable doing that,
It did.
right?
Yeah, I didn't feel a whole lot of anxiety with what my ball was going to do once I hit the lane. You know, like I said, working the pair and making it work to your advantage, using your bowling balls to your advantage to get that pair set makes the difference in the world.
And just rolling it, right?
Yeah.
I love that you said let. we got
a heavy thunderstorm coming through.
Yeah, it's so loud. Anyway, we use audio control, so we can't hear that. But anyway, I like that what you said about letting the pattern and the ball hook. Don't try to make it hook.
Right.
Don't try to do anything fancy with it. That was a great cue.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's just to kind of wrap up this, and then stay tuned for part 2 because we're actually going to bowl against each other and see who can be better at this pattern. But why don't we use like a stronger bowling ball, a bit quicker response, and see what it forces us to do.
Yep.
And potentially that over-under.
Yeah, some of the mistakes that can happen.
Some of the
for
mistakes
sure.
that can happen.
Yep.
So I'm going to switch to my effect.
Okay,
Right.
a little shinier.
It's a little shinier, and it's just gotta grab my thumb. It has some kind of surface remnants on it, but I could put more surface on it. It might look good, but the odds are is that it's going to be too responsive right now. I'm going to need something to blend it a little bit better. So why don't I just stand in the same spot?
Yep, let's see what it does off that same spot.
It's honestly not bad. So that's where
Yep.
if instead of, or as I'm getting further left with this effector, and it starts to maybe just be too slow at response, and I need something that's going to pick up off the spot as I get further in, as the lanes break down, probably a good option.
Yeah, again, it's an asymmetric cover or core, so you get that big engine inside of it with just a little bit more friction when you're ready for it. When the lanes are ready for it, when you need to get left, you can have the push and you're going to have the recovery.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. All right. How about
Now I can try my.
Piranha Power Core? I just ordered that one.
So yeah, so this is probably entirely the wrong ball to be throwing at this point because the lanes have not really transitioned as much. I would probably use this closer to game 3 when the lanes are hopefully perfect, where I can get left with my teammates and get it to the right. But we'll see what it does right now on a more fresh condition to see the possible problematics with it. It's raining so hard.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that surprisingly to me wasn't like boomerang, but
Yep.
definitely too weak in a sense.
Yeah, and I think that's the shortness of that pattern of 39 feet, because when it sees it, it wants to see it so fast that it's actually kind of just burning off a little bit and rolling forward in weak 10ing like that. So having that controllable, smoother shape, I think is going to play a lot better in this pattern.
How much further left did you move off that shot?
I actually moved 4 and 2.
4 and 2.
4 and 2.
Okay.
It still came off the spot, which is a good
Yeah.
sign,
Just not.
but it's just not the right shape through the pins.
Not the right entry angle. Yeah. Awesome. Well, I hope this was helpful for you today. I found it to be very helpful. And these sport patterns are not like house patterns. So it's nice to learn from the people that know ball reaction, that have performed really well too. So if you haven't already, please like and subscribe and leave us a comment. Let us know if there is anything within the brands of Brunswick you'd like to see go down the lanes, or if there's anything you'd like to see discussed on the channel, because we do this every week. So with that, we'll see you next week.